on this episode of the Bender Hour.
I see you installed the large version of Schlongtastic Skyrim. Good choice.
I see that jiggle-bone penis physic dangling in the wind. Anakin starts crying and he starts hugging like the laptop.
About the fucking nut.
Turn the thug posting off right now. The fucking Thor's like, oh,
You ain't from around here. We got a tradition called tipping. Fuck this sensing. Now I'm gonna pop a cyanide capsule.
It shows Mike Matei opening the door. Like, opening the door into the room, and it showed that there was like
a shotgun trap.
Just kills him. Hello there.
How are you doing?
I'm doing just fine. There was one minor thing that I actually wanted to talk about right out the gates.
Alright.
And that is about lemon water. This isn't even anything too major. Just like had to get it off my chest because it's really stupid. Like, I know you drink a lot of water. Do you bother to add any lemon? No.
Never.
Every now and then.
It just makes it more of a hassle to clean. Because I just use a big 64-ounce bottle that I refill. Mm-hmm. And if I put lemon in it, I have to like clean it more often. So
I guess it works out better for me because I have a huge steel mug. So I could just like...
I have a huge lead mug that I like to drink out. I like to squeeze 2 whole lemons into it and mix it around real well and then drink out of it.
I wish. I got this, one of those like stupid squeezers, put like half a lemon in it, or like a quarter of a lemon, or however the hell much I want, and squeeze it into it. And what I used to do is that after I'd like, squeeze the lemon, I would leave what was left of that, like just, fucked up, crushed up lemon and put it into the water. Because I mean that's just like what you do.
And then just throw the juice out.
And as I'm drinking, it tastes good, whatnot. And then let's say like there's still maybe like half the water in there, but maybe it's like late at night and I'm going to bed. So like if I put the mug away, I take it back out and I drink. If you leave like a whole lemon in your water for that long, it makes the water taste identical to vomit. Like, I'm not mincing like words here. It tastes exactly like puke, and it is so bizarre. You just gotta dump the whole thing.
Took you like 5 times of sipping on it to realize?
I was like twice. Ever since then, I no longer leave the lemon in there. Just the squeezings go into the water, and that's all there is to it.
I like to scoop out the innards of the lemon and then just put the rind into my drink. Get none of the flavor. Yep.
Strip out all of the fruit, and I just want to leave in just the hard, rindy zest.
I like to grind up the seeds and then just eat it.
The seeds. Yeah, just how much work? How
my daily dose of arsenic.
I like to pull off the sticker and just eat that.
I like to pull off the sticker and put it on my forehead.
Put it on my forehead, and then I just lay in the fucking lemon tray, like at the supermarket.
In the dirt in the backyard.
Hope for the best. But hey, as for people who are forced to live in the backyard, how do homeless people do it? How the fuck do they like survive? Like, what is the method? I'm not talking about like a city hobo that actually has like a lot of maybe like decent spots to hide in, like vents in an alleyway that are giving off consistent heat. I'm talking like a hobo who's trapped somewhere in suburbia where those kind of options are just like out of the table. Like, how the fuck do they do it when it gets like 3 feet of snow, like negative degrees, blistering winds, and yet you still see them like a month later, like walking down the road?
Dude, I have no fucking idea. Where I work now, for some reason, there is an overabundance of homeless people in that general area. And I just have no idea how they do it, because I never see anyone give them handouts.
No. And the crazy part is, like, I know the human body is like can survive shit like that. If you ever see those videos, you know, those insane videos of like those monks in Nepal who just sit like ass naked in the freezing snow, and there's like they're like melting the snow.
Yeah, but those guys are like they like train to do that. These
they train to
hobos
do it.
do not train to do that.
I mean, it may not be.
They are not comparable to like Shaolin monks in Tibet. Like,
well, it may not be rigorous training, but it's still like environmental training. Like they live with this, like not as an act of exercise, but as an act of necessity. You know, it's like farmers who like are like really buff just because of like their work. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like sure they're, you know, I mean, talk about the hobos here. Like sure they're fucked up and most of the time using those handouts to buy crack or something, but they are surviving this shit, and I can't understand how. I don't know where they would be going.
I had a hobo corner me on my like way into my job a few days ago, actually, because he was like just standing like next to the doorway in. And when I walked past him, he was like, "I'm a veteran. Can I, you know, get some money for some food?" I just went like, "I don't have any on me, dude." And he just got pissed off. He was like, "Oh, I don't have any on me, huh?" Go fuck yourself, dude. There's a reason you're homeless and I'm not. Like,
don't get any on me. Yeah, you know, I just ask him, you know, what is the first thing you're gonna spend that money on? You know, crack.
I tried to do like New York City mode and just pretend he doesn't exist, but like I said, he was like in my directly in my path.
I don't know. They're just getting more bold. Like
I swear one popped my tires a few months ago, just because I drove past her, and then like it was one of those ones that like goes around with like a shopping cart full of shit.
Yeah.
And like as soon as I drove past her, like probably like 50 yards down the road, my tire was just completely flat. Like that bitch threw like go-go gadget spikes in the road as I drove past. It's the only explanation.
Yeah, that gave me a really stupid idea. What if we were to like rank the levels of homelessness that we'd experience, and I would put like all the way at the bottom, like the bottom of the barrel, like the real bumpkin of the homeless are the ones that just, you know, walk around shouting nonsense because they're constantly in like a drug-addled stupor 24/7. Like, you know, they're shambling around, they can't walk, they can't talk. Their survival is like just pure miracle. Like that's the bottom. That's like level 0.
Did I talk about the one that me and some friends saw in New York City, like back in November? Did I ever talk about that?
Oh boy, I'm the wrong person to be asking about that. I could hardly retain shit like that. It sounds familiar.
I don't think I talked about it here on the podcast, but I'm not sure if I mentioned it to you before.
You might have.
When we went in to Penn Station, and there was just this homeless person sitting on the staircase, just completely motionless, just completely frozen, like locked up. And we just walked past her because whatever, cracked out homeless person. And then we got back that night, and she was still in that same spot, in the same position. And then we left Penn, came back the next day, and she was still in the same fucking position. And we left Penn Station to go do our shit in the city, and we were just like, is she dead? Like, are we gonna have to call the police or something? Like, she has not moved in over 24 hours. And then I think that night when we went back to Penn, she actually was like in a different position and like moving, so
so it was all right in the end.
Yeah. Just another homeless freak.
Yeah, I would say like someone like that, that's like the alternate tier 0. Or it may vaguely even be like lower somehow, like you're in the negatives, like that's like 0 prime. Like you just can't even move, you're that fucked up. You just sit there and I guess just absorb sunlight,
doze off. She was underground. This is Penn Station.
Oh, I didn't like, I don't know, that part didn't cross my mind. Absorbing
sewer rat,
absorbing absorbing the fluorescent light from the bulbs. Like a fucking little weed, like caught in the concrete. just all the bacteria. Like that's what she subsists on, like fucking algae. Yeah, that probably has to be the bottom.
So what's the next rank up? Like just sitting there with like a piece of cardboard.
Yeah.
That says like, please give me money.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, the next step is the sitting peddler, the one that's up against the brick wall holding the sign. You know, like will like do jumping jacks for money. You know, like that kind of shit. With, I'd say the immediate step up from that are the ones that specifically go onto the road, like right in between like an intersection, like in the median, holding the sign, just to ensure that you like have to see them.
I always like there's the ones that stand in the road, but I've seen a lot of them even here that stand on the side of the road, and they walk like up and down the rows of cars, and nobody gives a shit.
No, yeah, because the second you spot them, the whole game becomes don't make eye contact.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, they're gonna get up right close to your window and try to make you feel bad.
I always like the ones that try to make it religious too. Like they're like saying like God will bless you if you give to the homeless.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This isn't fucking Elder Scrolls where I'm gonna get the gift of charity by donating a septum to you. Like you are not gonna spend that money on anything that's gonna like actually enrich yourself or like your family if you even have like a real family according to like your sign.
But I think if a homeless guy walked up to me and said like, I used to be a soldier till I took a sword to the chest, like I might throw him the septum.
Yeah, like maybe if it's like an Oblivion where like the homeless actually give you like tips on how to complete your mission if you give them a septum. Like, yeah, I might know the location of that man for a coin.
Or what if they're like that one guy in Oblivion that has like 5 different voices for no reason?
Spare a coin. Thank you, kind sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, skills like that, you'd imagine like that they wouldn't have more money, being able to fake a whole identity. But where do you go up from there? Where do you go up from the person that like gets in your face in the car?
Well, between those two, the people who walk with the sign and the people who just sit with the sign, where do you place people that use pets as like props? Do you think they're higher or lower than that?
That is definitely like a step above, but they usually don't walk around. They're usually like the sitting
They're
types.
usually just sitting there, yeah.
But it does take an exceptional more amount of effort than any of the other ones, because it proves that like you're not only feeding yourself somehow, but you're feeding a fucking animal.
Mm-hmm.
And typically when you see those photos, those aren't like skin and bone dogs. Like they look like you just took them out of the house.
More well fed.
Yeah, so they're doing something. And that's just like a type of like pattern that most people don't really care to pick up on because, like we said before, you don't really want to look at them. They're like, it's like a burn victim. You just instinctively look away. The animal peddlers, yeah, the religion ones. I mean, any higher than that, and then you're just eventually like going into the parts where you just have like the homeless communities, where like you're like living in like a shanty town or like living in a sewer.
Well, undoubtedly the highest of the high are the homeless people that you don't know are homeless, which we don't really have out here, but they're pretty like relevant in like California, because like you can pretty much just be homeless there and really not have to worry about anything.
Yeah,
because it has like decent weather, so you never really have to worry about like being cold or frozen.
No.
And like they get plenty of amenities from the cities there, so you can legitimately just live homeless in like certain cities in California and you wouldn't even like know.
No, you could just really hide that shit from everybody. I mean, I guess
those people are living life because they don't fucking pay taxes.
No, they don't. It does beg the question, though.
Anything like that.
It does beg the question, like, where the cutoff is between like what we're describing as homelessness to the people that I guess like they're more like nomadic.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely like a fine line.
Well, yeah, like, would you count someone who lives in their like car as a homeless person?
I don't think I would. I don't think I would, because I'd still consider that like
they
a
have
home.
Shelter.
It is, yeah. It's like it's their shelter, and I guess you could make the argument that like like some of the like the lesser homeless people on the scale, sometimes they have those like really shoddy plastic tents that they live in.
Mm-hmm.
Like they might make like some like shitty lean-to out of a tarp, but I can't consider that on the same level as like an RV, or even just like a regular car for that matter.
I always say when I see those videos, if you like, look at this young, inspiring person living out of their car, and it's like supposed to just be like this like uplifting thing about how like this person is adapted to like life or whatever, and it just completely misses the point that the economy is so fucked that young people can't afford to buy houses or even rent anymore.
It is fucked up.
Like glorifying this borderline fucked up lifestyle.
Yeah, when even like a house for like hardly 2 people, you're gonna be paying like upwards of like $250,000 like minimum. Like you can't fucking do that nowadays. Like without putting on like such a fucked mortgage that you're gonna be slaving for years.
Or like those studio apartments where it's like the size of like a walk-in closet.
Yeah.
It's like, look at this, the way this guy is able to smartly use this space and just completely avoid the fact that like that's the best that this person could probably afford, and that's why they're living there.
Ignore the fact that it's $1,400 a month to like live in this bathroom. I mean, no, that's why like all that Airbnb and shit just like exploded.
Well, Airbnb is just like a hotel type thing.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's not like you're not supposed to live in one. You're supposed to just like rent it out for like a week.
Yeah, but sometimes like that's what it takes. Just fucking like move from like house to house. Like fuck it up and then leave and then get mad.
Purposely fuck it up. The bad thing about Airbnb is that you have to worry about like cameras in the toilets and shit.
Don't get us started with like cameras in the toilets.
Yeah. I think this might be like the 3rd episode in a row that it's mentioned cameras in toilets.
It's just another like peak visual gag.
Yeah.
It's like if you're fine with seeing like a butthole dilate, then like your humor is like acceptable to something that funny. So, I mean, I guess what is the highest rank of what we consider a traditional homeless person?
I still think what I said before.
Like just like the really
the
like the incognito
Californian
Californian.
That like because they're usually like they eat pretty decent because they usually somehow have income that isn't just like begging. They're usually pretty physically fit because all they do is walk around all day. So they have like a more active lifestyle than the average person in California. They don't pay taxes on anything. They don't pay rent, so like they just get to like kind of like absorb money from wherever the fuck they get it from.
That's true, but I wonder, does that balance out against like the threat of death from other hobos?
I guess it depends what part of the state you're in.
Because if I'm thinking of like an East Coast homeless person,
you're thinking of an animal.
I'm thinking of a fucking animal. And the thing is that like it's a very interesting case because there's plenty of pictures on the internet where you'll see some like homeless person in like New York City or something, and their pants and underwear just caked in dry shit. They're like sitting naked in a fucking subway, like turds leaking out of their ass, and like someone that disgusting, they almost have like immunity to them. Because it's not enough that like you don't want to look at them, you don't want to be near them. You're afraid to get like, even if you're a freak, like let's say like you're just as like crack-addled as like that hobo, even you would probably be like afraid to get confrontational with them.
It's just like if you ever played, like the listener that's ever played Elden Ring, the same way you feel about the Dung Eater is the way you would feel about these New York hobos.
About like the weakest New York hobo.
Yeah.
That shit just like so fucking nasty. You can get away with anything, and like the city's still trying to find ways to like appease you, like knowing full well that you are a threat.
But New York hobos also do have it well though, because I'm paraphrasing somebody else on YouTube, and I think they might have even said it in a podcast as well. But the thing about New York hobos that kind of does put them on a higher pedestal than some other hobos is the fact that they live in New York City. So they make enough money to survive in New York City, which most people who actually live in apartments in New York City don't actually do.
Yeah, but is it
The city is so expensive. Somehow these people make enough money to continue to buy food there. So they got to be doing something right.
But that is like still a huge assumption that they're like buying food. You gotta remember that these people
And not just hunting pigeons.
I mean, pigeon hunting is a real thing. Like rat hunting.
Maybe like fucking 200 years ago.
You can still find videos of people catching pigeons. There was like that one I saw a couple of years ago where some guy just goes into like a park, picks up 3 pigeons off the ground because they're so used to humans they don't even attempt to escape. He reaches down, grabs 3, and then the next shot is him boiling them in a fucking pot in his studio apartment. And that's just like a regular guy that can actually like afford an apartment. These people, like they literally, like how homeless people usually do this shit is that if they're like desperate enough to actually start like rummaging through garbage and they need to like find spots to hide from, I don't know, like police or maybe people that like don't want them in the area, they fucking mark the walls like they're in the damn Dark Brotherhood. They put in fucking symbols to like let other homeless people know like what's up. Like show them like, what's the nicest trash in the area to like pick out like a fucking disgusting half-eaten piece of chicken.
It's like when like people find out which homes give the big candy bars on Halloween.
It's like really dawning on me now like how retarded it is like keep referring to like like the homeless plight in like Elder Scrolls. As if like Elder Scrolls like came up with it first.
Yeah. It's hard to believe all these homeless people referencing Elder Scrolls all the time.
Yeah. I guess just because Elder Scrolls just has better homeless people. Like sure they can be like sure they they're like these intrigued characters, they're hiding shit from you, but they're almost always helpful because they they have gossip on everything. They like know exactly what's going around, they know who you need to kill in that mission. Try talking
I've never known a homeless person in an Elder Scrolls game to just start yelling at me completely unprompted.
No. Unless you count that one guy in Solitude who was like, "Alms, you backbiter," like every time you walk near him. I think he's got to be the only one that really yells at you.
Alms, I need alms, you ball biter.
The rest of them are calm. They have a nice big smile on their face like, "Could you provide a coin?" Just one coin, like 1 septum. You can find that shit like by accident.
Yeah, it's crazy that they don't just go and search like random pots.
Yeah,
every the character gets to do.
Yeah, and this is like a world where in their economy, every single person is willing to buy stuff from you at a loss. So you cannot be homeless. You could just pick up a broom you found outside, sell it to some asshole. So like there's an armor smith. Like this guy's living is to sell you armor, but he's still confident to buy a broom from you for like 3 septums, and that's enough to buy food. So if you're homeless in Elder Scrolls, that is a conscious life decision. I never will understand that. Like I know it's kind of like an RPG trope now, but I'll never understand the insistence on having every single store be like a flea market where they're perfectly fine with buying stuff from you. That's almost always garbage. Like how the fuck does that work? Nobody does that. If I walked into if I walked into a fucking ShopRite and I like sold some guy like a pitcher, he would kick me out.
I guess the idea is that they're supposed to like resell it, because I don't know. I guess it must be mods that I play with that make it so that you can only sell specific types of items at specific stores. So like I can't just sell like potions to a blacksmith. I have to sell him weapons and armor.
Yeah, I think that might be a mod.
Sense.
The only thing they won't buy is like stolen stuff. Because they know it's stolen
because they
somehow.
know it's stolen.
They explain that one away.
Wait, I know you.
Very well. Makes things even better.
I wish you could do that in real life.
Yeah.
If you could get away with homeless people in real life, how come like if you get pulled over by a cop, they walk up to your window like, "License and registration, please," and then you just drive away. Like, very well. Just go back to their car.
Yeah, like backing out of the guard dialogue when when you have like a 5 fucking septum bounty, it's like the equivalent of in real life when you like keep telling a cop like, "Am I being detained? Am I free to go?" over and over, like until like they get sick of you and like leave.
It's like giving a cop a PBA card.
No, that's like when you tell the guard that you're the Thane. Oh, all right. Run along now, you little scamp.
You little scoundrel. I love that guy.
Oh, I love that guy. He's free to kill anyone he wants around here, but only once. I'll get him next time.
But shouting is making people nervous.
That's another part I always hated. Like, I can understand maybe like the first time, shouting in the town, people are getting nervous, but like
I think eventually they just come around and start like applauding.
like that's what
You're
should
like a
happen.
hero of legend to these people.
If you
They
stopped,
should be like loving it.
yeah, like at least until like you stopped Alduin, like that shit, like people should start like applauding, like they should run out. Like if you shout in Whiterun after you kill Alduin, like all the NPCs outside should like sprint to you and start clapping. Like it's like, oh, he defeated the world leader. Like, oh, good job, sport. But no,
I love you. Give me a kiss, you big hunk.
every single male guard just starts like tackling you. Like, I want the piece of that fine man. Who would have thought?
You sexy man.
Who would have thought the Dragonborn would be an Argonian?
Who'd have thought the Dragon Ball would be such a sexy hunk?
Would be such a sexy man with a well-defined chin, fat ass, huge cock and balls.
Oh.
Oh boy.
I see you installed the large version of Slongs of Skyrim. Good choice.
I see that jiggle-bond penis physic dangling in the wind. Oh, a real patrician.
Salivating from the lips.
Oh, I see you're a real man of culture with that 8K ass cheek mod.
Come give daddy some sugar.
Let's immediately snap into a sex animation.
I see you have the pheromones, my dog. Good choice.
Good choice. You turned it into a rhythm-based sex minigame with an orgasm meter. That's the Skyrim I know. I see you also have the Sunny Smiles pregnancy mod for New Vegas.
He's like going through your whole
He's basically
computer.
he's like Psycho Mantis.
Oh,
Like,
force of the blue skin, huh?
oh boy. You're a real man of culture. Like, can you imagine if like Kojima, like in all of his, like fucked up wisdom, like if his next game he pulled like a Psycho Mantis that read your internet history. Like, like this is the guy, like if you gave him the money, he would like have the game come bundled with like a catapult that throws fucking like blood at you to like make you feel more immersed whenever you get hit. So I can't imagine like the kind of free reign this guy would get if
Thug posting.
That was like really quiet, but I heard that. Thug posting. I don't understand.
Otacon, what is thug posting?
Yeah, like it's like old Snake, so he doesn't really like understand what's going on. What is this thug posting? Snake, thug posting is when a black man shakes his oiled butt on the camera. It's like playing like the old Snake theme. I'm dying.
It's too hot in here.
And then like throughout the entire game, instead of it being those like little nanomachine like vials that they like inject into their necks, like the fucking Metal Gear Mark II that fucking Otacon's driving around, like it flips open like its little camera, it shows a thug shaking video, and Snake's like his like stress bar starts going down, like, it just like, makes that noise.
Fox die kicks in.
Yeah. It kills him. Yeah, right at the end of the game. So it's like, you're pretty gay. And then it just, It's an all kicks in at once and gets him.
Instead of throwing like Solidus's body into the fire, he throws
Dives in himself.
he throws Dreamy Bull in. No! And like Ava like, goes in and jumps in after him to try to save him.
Okay, you know the scene when they finally get into the center of like the AI core?
Yeah.
And like they finally disable it, all those like TVs come on of like Naomi. What if every single one of those like was Dreamy Bull?
I'm about to blow.
Otacon starts crying and he starts hugging like the laptop.
About to fucking nut.
And he's like, Dreamy Bull, and like hugs the fucking thing. Snake's just like laying dead having a seizure. Because that's just like what happens for some reason. Someone's got to get in contact with Kojima, like on Twitter, like show him this. Like, if someone like proved to him that this was some kind of like new age cultural icon, then he would find a way to work it into his projects.
Thugs?
Yeah. That's all it takes. You know, very, very influenced by, you know, the trending, the new, the now. And I think more games could,
Patriots need more thugs, Raiden. Colonel, what are you talking about?
Turn the thug posting off right now.
Take your hands off it and shake that shit, Raiden. That's so fucking stupid too, because that whole scene he's like covering his cock with his hands. Raiden, take your hands off it and shake that shit.
Take your hands off and shake that shit right now. Like, huh? What's going on?
Dude, if I was playing Metal Gear Solid 2 and like that codec call came in that ending scene, I'd probably like shut the fucking console off.
There'd just be more reason to keep playing. Like, what else is gonna throw at you?
I'd be too busy like laughing to like play after that.
Like they really got the like fucking Colonel's voice actor to say that. Shake that thing right now. And like,
You got it, Raiden. You got the thug shaker.
he actually has like a fully animated like dangling dick.
He has a fully animated black oily ass.
It's like, well,
It's part of the simulation.
like looks at the camera, like gives a wink. He's like, well, I am part Liberian. It's like that
He's
was
completely white when he comes back in Metal Gear Solid 4. He has like a cybernetic ass.
like it's not even like it is like completely like fleshy.
Yeah, it's black.
Like it looks like one of those like long johns that you can wear with like the ass flap open.
Like he's got assless chaps on.
Yeah. Like, you know, you have this character who like originally like wasn't really liked all too much, and then they bring him back like and they try to make him badass, but that's what they do to him.
Give him like just a full cybernetic body, but then just a human ass. That's a completely different skin tone from his head.
Yeah, like when like geckos fire like their little fucking like grappling winches at him, he catches both of them in between his ass cheeks and he starts like shaking them and like spinning them around.
You know the part where he lands on top of the gecko and he's holding the sword with his feet?
Yes.
And like he comes down on top of it. That
Yes.
same scene, but when the sword penetrates, he's doing the Broly squat.
It's just not right. every single frog trooper just replaced with like a thug. Like Dreamy Haven. Can you imagine that? Like, you know, the front of his like ship, you know, also it's like running back. He's like doing that thing. It's like, ah! He's like running backwards, like pointing at like Snake, and like the fucking huge statue on the front. Instead of it being like the Mount Rushmore of all the snakes, it's just like a bunch of different. It's just like a bunch of different like shots of Dreamy Bull like mid nut.
It's just the same guy.
Yeah. Like,
I figured you'd have all the like progenitors of that style of comedy. Like obviously like, Dreamy Bull would be there, but then you'd have like Ricardo Milos and like Billy Harrington. Like just the progenitors of gay porn comedy.
Like Mount Thugmore. Fucking Kojima wishes he had us on that team.
What is Ocelot trying to accomplish in this world?
I don't know. At this point,
what does this have to do with the Patriots anymore?
I don't even like. At this point, it doesn't even like. He doesn't even have a goal. He's just trying to fuck with Snake, which seemed to be like pretty much half of what he was doing to begin with. Oh, he's not saving the world at all. That was a complete side project.
How come at the end of Metal Gear Solid 4, he didn't just go up to Snake like before he died and just went full Drake and Josh? Just, hug me, brother.
Hug me, brother. Why didn't he just like, since Snake was fucking like damn near exhausted, laying on the roof of like a giant submarine, and Ocelot was clearly like in better health? Why didn't you just like kick him off?
I'm pretty sure by that point, like, the Fox die was kicking in.
They got to fight to the damn near death for 15 minutes before it kicked in. I don't know. He just really wanted to fight him for some reason. He just, even though he wasn't technically, you know, actually, even though he wasn't Liquid Snake, he still just like wanted to settle the score with Solid Snake for no real reason outside of just like doing it. Just wanted to beat up this old man. I guess he got it done in the end.
I mean, he was also an old man at that point.
Well, he was like a real old man. Like Solid Snake was like a fake old man. Like he's only like what, like 30 or something.
I mean, Solid Snake also was like the biggest like roadblock for him this like entire time.
I guess so.
It makes sense that he just wanted to like get him back for once.
You know, they like really beat the shit out of each other in that scene. Like they should have been dead.
They both die.
They should have both died. You don't like walk away from that without like long-standing health complications. You're talking about old men who like crack their skulls together like full force. Like we're breaking ribs, snapping fingers, and somehow one of them walked away from that. I mean, hell, Ocelot like died with just a little bit of blood on his face. Like all he had was like a broken nose. Well, this fox die is in me. I'm gonna freaking die. Fuck. That pisses me off. Yeah, when's Kojima just gonna fucking break all like copyright holdings, just make another Metal Gear?
Yeah, at Kojima Productions.
Yeah.
Hey, it's me, Kiefer Sutherland. I'm back.
I'm back. Yeah, that would be like the saddest part too. It'd be like funny in a way that like if Kojima did decide to just completely like throw a wrench into like copyright status and just try to like remake another Metal Gear game based purely off of the clout that he has, David Hayter would not come back. He would just bring in like Keith Sutherland or like some other fucking celebrity.
Yeah, he couldn't afford me this time, so he's gonna get someone else.
He couldn't afford me. I'm not coming back.
I wouldn't even be in it because I'm pretty sure Kojima said that the only story left to tell in Metal Gear is like the boss's story in World War II. So
Yeah.
He's not gonna be any big boss. I'm not gonna be in the game.
I mean, that's what they could do. I want to like land on Normandy as the boss, and then have a rhythm mini game where she's giving birth to fucking Ocelot on the battlefield.
I want a game called Metal Gear where there's no Metal Gear in it.
Yeah. Well, you know
It's like
what?
Metal Gear for the NES.
Well, you know what it'll be this time? It's gonna be like a previous Shagohod built by the Germans. Like that's what it's gonna be.
Metal Gear.
Gear. Metal Gear Solid 3 didn't have a... You know, Metal Gear Solid 3, like, it had the Shagohod, but in that scene when you talk to the guy who developed the fucking thing, like...
What's his name?
Okay, well, Sokolov was the guy who made the Shagohod, but I'm talking about that other guy who, like... He was, like, the competitor with Sokolov. He came up with the idea for, like, an actual bipedal tank, and, like, fucking... Volgan was like, no, that's dumb. But, like, in his files that you see on the desk, he just straight up made Metal Gear Rex. Like, you can't fucking walk around that. Like, that is fucking, like...
Our Sahelanthropus.
Yeah, like...
Where's the pupa? Where's all that stuff?
Well, that's, like, 10 years later.
You just jumped, like, 40 years in development. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and, like, it's dumb, too, because, like, the pupa was, like, based on the Shagohod. So you can't just make that huge leap. I mean, Sahelanthropus, I mean, well, it's like, I guess it
doesn't, like, fit in.
No, I mean, it's like cool looking, but yeah, that does not fit in Metal Gear whatsoever. And it was one thing that, like, they were able to make it so ridiculous because, like, it wasn't intended to be driven because it was like being like controlled by fucking like Mantis. But then to actually have it be that Huey made it drivable, like, that's just impossible. That thing was literally, like, unworkable because it's meant to be controlled by a fucking, like what do you call someone, like, with those powers?
Like a telekinesis? Like...
Yeah, like a telekinetic person. That's the only way you can control this thing. So that was just a complete ass pull.
It should have just stayed more Rex-like, because it would have made sense. It could have been like Rex, but slightly more advanced.
Yeah, like a prototype
and then it would
Rex.
have been like, you know, like when DARPA made Rex in the 90s or whatever, that like they were basing it off of what they had left of Sahelanthropus, because XOF like wasn't technically a part of the United States government, so they just had like scraps of the design.
Yeah, and you
and
know
that's why like Rex would be still like not equal to Sahelanthropus, but it shouldn't have been completely upright with movable arms and fingers. Like,
yeah, and you know they tried to like, you know, they like, pulled that gotcha moment because like when it's first revealed, the thing's hunched over and looks exactly like Rex. Yeah, and then it gets up and it's like, oh, now it's just like perfectly articulated, like fucking humanoid. You don't do that. You know, what's even the point of the thing having
Arms?
like arms, hands, and fingers? I don't even think
just so
like,
that one scene where it's holding Snake.
Yeah, because I don't
That's
think when in both of the times when like I mean, there's only one mission where you really have to fight him for real, but in both the times when like you have to run away from it while it attacks you, I don't think it uses its hands or fingers for anything.
It uses the machine gun in its head, and then it fires the pods from its back, and that's it.
Yeah, fires the pods.
It never
shoots machine
grabs
gun.
you, other than in the cutscene.
Oh, and you can't forget, it has the flamethrower dick.
Does it?
Yes, it does. If you, like, it rarely deploys it, but if you like get in between its legs, a flamethrower descends from where its dick would be, and it starts to torch you. But no need for arms.
The only other reason for the hands is so that Skullface can stand on it.
Yeah, during like that one scene.
Yeah.
Where it was somehow able to like sneak in. I remember like that mission where you need to get the honeybee missile launcher, and then like you walk outside, and somehow Sahelanthropus like descends quietly into this area, like he's fucking Godzilla from like what was the shitty one, like the 1998 Godzilla. 1995.
American one?
Yeah, like what year was that?
I think that was 99.
Like 99.
It was around the same time as Godzilla 2000. Like they came out almost at the same time.
Or it's like that whole horrible joke in that movie where they somehow lost Godzilla, like in the city. Like they just couldn't find him. What a joke. I mean, like, if you, like looking at it through the veins of like trying to make a Godzilla movie as bad as possible, that's like something I would write in.
They woos Godzilla.
Yeah, we lost him. Like, and it's not like he dove into the ocean and like dove deep enough for like, you know, we can't detect him anymore. He's in the city. He dove through a skyscraper and then like ran off, like as if he like hid away somewhere.
It's like a Godzilla movie where he doesn't have atomic breath.
Yeah.
Fucking miracle. How did that get past?
Okay, there's one scene where like he
There's
breathes
one
fire.
scene where he opens his mouth and a car gets set on fire at the same time, and it's very ambiguous as to if he caused it or if it just happened to get set on fire at the same time. Because the fire doesn't come from his mouth.
I just like vaguely remember that scene. The only thing I really remember from that movie was that entire like fever dream second half where they all deal with like his velociraptor children
In the like ice skating rink.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was just like not real.
Just copy off of Jurassic Park.
And the funny thing is, you know, like the Shin Godzilla ends, like is that gonna be like the eventual Shin Godzilla 2? That'd be like great if like that's what like all those things on his tail were.
Just the velociraptors.
Yeah.
Even though like very like clearly human looking in the movie, they just immediately come out as the American Godzilla velociraptor babies.
Yeah.
And they just also happen to be in an ice skating rink too.
Yeah, like they all have these horrifying like human like designs to them.
With
but
like
they
one eye and
yeah,
shit.
but they're all like shells and they just burst open and they're just the exact same CGI models of those velociraptors from like fucking 30 years ago. That would be an amazing twist. But I mean, I guess I could see the scariness of having like a shit ton of like little humanoid creatures that like have the same abilities as Shin Godzilla like running
Then
around.
isn't even a Godzilla movie anymore. They don't look like Godzilla.
Yeah, I mean the whole point of that movie was to like just like completely uproot like what it meant to be a Godzilla movie, I guess.
Not really. It's pretty much a remake of the original 1954 Godzilla. When
Yeah,
it really comes down to brass tacks, it even uses the same soundtrack in a lot of spots.
yeah, but the only thing that's really being replicated is just that like Godzilla's the bad guy like coming
And
onto
it's
shore.
More like a horror movie.
Yeah, that's like really it. Everything else is like so out of left field for like the rest of the movies. Or like the rest of like the serious type movies where that shit happens. That, you know, in the next movie, like that, like it wouldn't even be bad for a spin-off, just like having like an army of these horrible like creatures that just have Godzilla's powers to evolve and like shoot fucking beams, just walking around Tokyo.
I don't know how they're supposed to stop it, considering that it's now immune to like the one weapon that they got to work.
That's
It'd be
how it
more
ends.
like
It's just
It'd
over.
be more like a movie about Destroya than Godzilla, honestly, at that point.
Bring him back. Problem is, I don't know if like
should
anyone
bring
really
him
has the
back.
balls to bring him back.
He's like one of the coolest fucking Godzilla villains. They should bring him back.
It's just like Toho hasn't made a movie since then like that, and I don't know
So-
if they're
Hold on.
I don't know if they're really like on board anymore to keep going with like the crazy old puppet style. Like even if they're not puppets, I don't know if they're still willing to delve into like the old Godzilla style anymore. I think they've been trying to take like a more grounded approach, even if like Godzilla himself is like getting stranger, if you know what I mean.
I'm still just waiting to see Baragon.
Baragon.
Is that
In-
the?
no, yeah, I
that's the
think
name.
You're talking
did I fuck him
about
up?
Gamera, right?
No, I'm talking about the guy from the Super NES game.
Oh, fucking isn't it like Bane or
Bane.
something?
Yeah, it's so fucking similar.
That guy.
That dude's fucking cool.
The guy would like fucking like wring out Destroya's neck.
Yeah.
They just relegate him to a fucking game.
He was supposed to be in like 5 fucking movies.
That's
Like
how long
every
it would
movie
take.
that was coming out within the range of that game, he was the slated monster for it. And then at the last second, every single time, they replaced him with something else.
Do you think that means that they had like a suit in the wings somewhere like made?
I don't think he ever got that far.
Like if he was slated for 5 movies, like someone had to have made like at least like a mock-up, and we're probably
The thing
never
is,
gonna
like,
find that shit.
Every time they would always like, they always had like a different design for him too. Like they just kept changing them up.
I mean, I think that like Super Nintendo one was pretty damn
Pretty
good.
fucking cool, yeah.
Even if that game was like kind of shitty. I mean, I saw you play it. Remember that much. It's just not how you conduct a fighting game.
You gotta save up your fighting spirit. I still don't even know how that game fucking works, and I beat the fucking thing.
Yeah, just what the fuck? Like, you know, just like I'm like I don't even know. I hardly even like want to say, just because like just talking about any game that the AVGN's already done is like just infinitely gonna feel like some kind of rehashing. Like I instinctively wanted to say like, what the fuck were they thinking? Like I don't even know if that's just like stupid to say at that point. I don't know. It's not like he has a copyright on saying that.
It is kind of his slogan though, so.
Yeah, but considering he sucks ass now, I don't even like care. I'm not afraid to say that he sucks ass.
It needs to be said, honestly.
Yeah, like here at the Bender Hour, we really gotta put down our feet and say that we do not appeal to, you know, bad opinions.
We do not appeal to new AVGN fans.
No.
We're classic around here.
It reminds me of I saw this like video this guy made a couple months ago where he was like shitting on Halo 4, and I was like, I gotta watch this because I fucking hate Halo 4's guts. And it was a 2-part video. I think each part was like almost an hour long, and he pretty much got every single thing that I would have complained about, except he repeated himself. Like basically every single problem he found a way to repeat what he had already explained about 3 times. And it was very annoying. And also, although I can't really blame him all too much, he didn't really dive into Spartan Ops outside of saying that like it's so bad it still has like glitches that will never be fixed because no one plays it to like even know. Because as someone who has fucking played all of Spartan Ops on Legendary, that honestly deserves its own video, and I'll probably like need to make that one day. And I'm not looking forward to it.
Did that. I did like 2 missions with you guys, and that was probably like the worst night in recent years for me.
Yeah, like as a preface,
Spartan Ops sucks balls.
Like as a preface, like just like to let people, like in case I ever do make that video, Spartan Ops is the worst thing ever made in the media of video games in human history. And that is hardly hyperbole. The only reason it exists is so like people that like the pre-rendered cutscenes can fucking watch it.
The cutscenes with the best graphics.
Yeah, with the best graphics ever made. With Peter Butts.
Hi, Peter Butts.
Hi, Peter Butts. Nice to meet you.
Can't say I was a big fan of Halo Reach.
You know,
just spend the next hour repeating other people's jokes.
Yeah. Although I guess speaking of like rehashing like a donkey joke, I just seen recently his video where he was showing up like I don't know if you saw it yet or even bothered to watch it. It's like best games of 2022 or
I
whatever.
haven't watched it yet. No.
So it's like most of the video was pretty like underwhelming in terms of like humor. It wasn't really like anything special, but there was this one part at the end where like he blitzes through his reviews of both of the God of War games, where it's like games like I think they were like 2-in-1 spots.
You're really treading on thin water here, bringing up God of War.
I know. You know, he goes like, you know, the first God of War game, he's like, God of War, you know, all I can say is goddamn. And then in the next part, he has this retarded scene where he like Kratos throws his axe at a dragon and it makes like the Donkey Kong noise, like, ugh! And then it just cuts to Kratos saying knack. And I fucking like spit out my drink. I thought that was like hysterical. Like, it came out of left field because the rest of the video was, like, so underwhelming.
Here, now I gotta go watch
Yeah, you have to see that. Like, I just couldn't. I kept watching that part over and over. And because, like, I know exactly, like, because I know exactly, like, what scene that is.
Dare cut off a god of war. I heard you guys were talking about me. Boy.
Boy.
Come here, boy.
Come here, boy. Your beard is coming in, Atreus. Soon your pubes will follow suit. I will teach you how to manscape like a Spartan. Speaking of, this video is...
Get your new lawnmower 3.0, boy.
Here's my promise.
Make sure you get your ball cologne too, boy.
Yeah, here's my promise to, like, Manscapes. If you offer us a promotion deal for this video, I will make the thumbnail Kratos shaving fucking Atreus' pubes. That is my promise to you people.
Who are you? Can I come in? I bought HelloFresh.
That is retarded. It's like the fucking, like, UPS driver.
It's a delivery man. It's like DoorDash. I brought Wendy's.
Yeah, like, you know, like Thor's sitting at the table, and he's like dipping his finger inside of like the barbecue sauce, like rubbing it on Mjolnir, and then they hear like the bang at the door. But then all of a sudden, like Kratos hears like a buzz in his pants, like looks at his phone, and it's just like, like your DoorDash order is here, like from Odin. You know who I am. It's like carrying like the bag. That's one way to
You killed his sons.
give that game.
That was self-defense. It's fine. But Baldur, he was my best delivery man. He was useful.
He was useful.
You're no fun anymore.
You're no fun anymore.
I'll even let you keep the head. Don't listen to him. I can't do that fucking accent.
Can't do like Mimir.
Yeah, Mimir.
Don't listen to him.
Don't listen to him. If he tells you he didn't stick his hand in your food, he's lying.
If he's telling you he didn't steal a fry from the bag, he's lying. Yeah, Odin's definitely the fucking dude to like not receive like a tip, so he leaves the food like on full blast in front of the AC, like in his car.
I'll keep my ex off your back. All you need to do is tip 20% every time.
No. Don't take all day.
Too long.
Yeah. And like, you know, the fucking Thor's like, oh,
You ain't from around here. We got a tradition called tipping.
we have a tradition called gratuity. I was thinking something like way more retarded. Like when I was even like thinking about that, I was thinking, you know, like Odin gets up, he like goes right up to Thor's ear. He's like, "Don't take too long." And he walks out. He's like,
Kisses him on the forehead.
don't take too long, honey. Kisses him, like walks out, and then, you know, Thor's like, about time, and Kratos just immediately like hits Thor with an uppercut and like knocks him out and like kills him.
Thor gets up and like his leg cramps. Oh!
He gets up and his femur like buckles.
gets up and like the blood rushing to his head knocks him out, so he just falls forward onto the table.
Look, I get over like the Hello Fresh part. Just thinking about like Thor carrying like that big fucking box. Like that, instead of flashing Mjolnir to his side, like he pulls out this cardboard box. I brought Hello Fresh.
Use our code Valhalla20 to get 20% off.
It's like he looks at the camera for that bit.
He winks. He smiles and like one of his teeth has like a twinkle on it. Ding.
Like they just couldn't like somehow like the previous God of War game just made like pennies on the market. They just could not afford to fucking make this one.
They had to sell out to make the game.
You know, because I know there's a lot of people that like joke around and say that like Ragnarok is like DLC because it's basically like just like the same engine again, but like that would really like make it fucked up.
I have like this thought. I think it was when I was at work because I was just bored out of my mind. Or maybe I was taking a shower, but I just thinking of that opening scene of like, you know, like the house shaking, the lightning coming through the ceiling. They rush outside. Who are you? And it's Thor. Can I come in? I brought mead. And Kratos just looks like, just like leave my home. Just turn on the lightning off. Like, come on. Like Thor's just like, he's like, okay, leaves. And next day, like, you know, like Kratos and Atreus are just tuckered out. They spent all day patching up all the holes, fixing the house. It's nighttime now. They go to sleep. And like 10 minutes later, like all the lightning starts coming back. Rush back outside. Just leave. Like, stop.
Can I come in? Can I?
Leave.
Can I come in?
It's like ringing the doorbell.
Yeah, like they look at their.
Can I come in? Anyone home?
Yeah, like, you know, once again, Kratos just like it wakes him up like on his fucking nightstand, looks at his phone, like his Ring camera, to text like fucking Thor's face right in the camera.
He's looking right into it.
Can I come in?
It's cold out here.
Please go away.
You're fucking destroying my home. Leave.
You're scaring my son.
He's crying.
Have a heart.
Can I come in? It's fucking pouring out here.
Do you have mead? It's like the one time he didn't bring it.
It goes to reach for the bottle and realize he forgot to pack it. Oh.
He just like, since like they can't do like the spinning throw Mjolnir thing because that's already been done by Marvel, he does like his like stupid half-ass throw. And he just goes sailing, and you just immediately hear like an explosion. They head outside, and he just went right into like a rock face. Splattered like Wile E. Coyote.
He's like paper flat up against the rock.
It was like a perfect Thor imprint that just goes through and out the other side.
I like to imagine he's flat up against it, like Kratos has to come over and like shake him off with the axe. Like scrape him off the side of it.
I don't know, like this scene like just popped into my head. So, you know, he finally goes to bed, and then there's like that 10 seconds of, you know, like waiting. Like the lightning starts. Then like that hole gets blasted through the fucking ceiling by the lightning. Kratos looks up, like laying down in his bed, and through that hole in the ceiling, you just see the silhouette of Thor come down, like body slams him. And like just in those final seconds, just hear like, may I come in? I brought mead. That's the end of the game. Like, it's like when he kills you during that battle and ends up in like a loading screen. Like when he lands on you, like you really die and have to go back.
The secret quick time event.
It's not prompted.
You just have to figure it out. He's just sitting there like watching on repeat what you think is a cutscene, just over and over. Kratos dying.
Honestly, that would be like a really stupid thing for people, like for devs to include in like future games. Like
Fake cutscenes.
Yeah. Like cutscenes that are like really like animated like that, but you still have full control. I don't even know like how possible it is to like incorporate that and like make it work, but that would be hysterical. Just as like a gotcha moment. I wonder how long it would take until you finally figured out that like you had to move.
Did you eat the Hello Fresh box? Who told you to do that? You sell what I tell you to sell. No. I didn't want this.
You make the food, I eat it. He drops Mjolnir, he looks down. Thor just goes like, crushed all of his toes. I gotta like already like unwind just a little bit. It was like bordering on being very stupid. Problem is we've already spent countless hours off of Bender doing this like exact thing already, so to actually like pull something new out of our asses is like really funny to me.
Fucking Hello Fresh box.
Like that is easily like one of the dumbest things that could have like initiated that conversation.
I have a very good feeling about what the thumbnail of this episode's gonna be.
Like that is a fucking thumbnail. Who are you? Thor. And then like the audience starts applauding.
Oh my god. Can't even make my God of War 2 joke because I already did that like a few weeks ago.
Alright, we just wait till God of War 3.
Wouldn't hit the same. It's like, how does that one make it? Wouldn't make sense.
What, just calling it God of War 3?
No. You don't remember the joke of like the end? Like it's supposed to be like the end of God of War 1. They're talking about like Thor, and it's like you know, he's a god of combat and destruction, and Kratos like looks over and he goes, so he's kind of a God of War 2. And then like the game ends.
So he's a God of War 2. And then he just like looks at the camera. Ragnarok.
Ooh.
I mean, how do they follow that up for God of War 3 Ragnarok? It's like, you know, like
Ragnarok is just a permanent part of the title now.
I mean, it's like it's still going, is it not?
I don't know. I don't think so.
It's just over. Because what I'm trying to imagine is, like, everything is done. Like, literally everybody that wants to harm him and, like, his family is out of the picture. So, what excuse could they possibly cook up to get Kratos out of his stupid log cabin and to, like, move somewhere else? To, like, progress, like, the series? It's just, like, an avalanche gonna crush his house? He's going, no!
God of War 3 wakes up as a... goes to answer the door. Could I come in?
He's back! Who are you?
Kratos is like an old man now. He like has Alzheimer's.
Who are you? come in? Please?
Spare a cord.
He's right down on his luck. Everyone's dead. It's like over. Like anything they try to do to continue the series would have to be like an ass pull unless they brought other gods to like show up to his house in fucking like Scandinavia just to fuck him over.
Who are you? Who are all these people?
Yeah, just a conga line of every other prominent god.
Yeah. Pretty sure we already did this.
Oh yeah, and every single one of them had mead with them.
Yeah.
Because that's like the only way to get into his house. Like you walk in there, and that little stupid table he has is like, it's like 100 times the length now.
There's piles of bottles of mead on it.
Like his house extends out like a quarter mile.
He had like build a new room. It became such a regular occurrence.
Just needed to accommodate. You know, did they even ever go back to that house that got like blown up by lightning? Like, didn't they just like abandon it because it's fucking destroyed?
I have no fucking idea. I haven't played God of War Ragnarok. Everything I've been talking about is based off of like snippets of scenes I've seen. Like...
That's exactly how it is on this end. I've only ever played like maybe an hour's worth of like the original God of War 2. That is as far as like my knowledge goes for like hands-on gameplay.
I played all 3 of them when they came out originally, and I only ever beat God of War 3.
Like the only thing that even like comes to mind is I just remember like, if this even was like, maybe I'm like mixing it up with like gameplay footage I've seen, but I'm pretty sure it was from this one. Where you're just like just swinging on like harpies. Like they're just like floating in the air like those fucking like Sonic Adventure robots that you just like use to like home and dash on.
I think that's like pretty much every one of those games.
Yeah. I don't know if there's any explanation for this. My belly button all of a sudden got an insane itch. I've been scratching it silently for the past minute, but now it's just coming back.
I don't know if anyone has an explanation for this, but my belly button just suddenly became an outie.
Yeah, I pinched my nostrils together and like blew really hard. My belly button shot out.
You tried cleaning it?
Yeah, what I did is I like licked the end of my index finger, stuck it as far into my belly button as possible, and then like sucked on that.
I put my finger into my belly button, took it out, then put it into my mouth.
I put my finger around my butthole, and then I stuck my finger onto a petri dish to develop like an anal fucking cell culture.
Move the claw around the asshole. Trying to like make your own butt baby over there.
Yeah, cultivate a butt baby. It's because they say that like, I mean, speaking of belly buttons, that like an insane amount of unique bacteria has been discovered in like people's belly buttons. You know, imagine like coming up with like, imagine getting to name your own like new bacteria you found like in your butthole.
The Inspector Gadget cell, that's what I'd call it.
Yeah, like, like Rectimus, like Inspectorus or something.
Move the claw.
Michael Mateus. Move the claw around my asshole.
Minecraftia.
Matei would be like so pissed.
Yeah. Permanently name something after his like the thing that he hates the most.
Why does he have to hate it so much?
Because it made him look like a fucking retard.
Why was he so aggressive about Minecraft?
Yeah, why was Inspector Gadget so aggressive against him?
Yeah, why did he kill him?
Do you have the audiobook version of Mein Kampf? Do you have the audiobook version of Mein Kampf?
Dropping that one on the viewers.
Oh, good enough.
Close enough. And then just, the dumbest part about, like, that parody video is that, I'm just gonna fucking talk about it. I'm not even gonna bother explaining. But, like, in that parody video, after he goes, like, oh, Mein Kampf. Like, oh, I think Minecraft, I think is what you're talking about. Oh, close enough. Minecrafter. He just said what it was. No, Inspector Gadget, Minecraft. Oh, you can suck on Mineshaft. He's like keep repeating himself in like a darker tone, like you can suck on Mineshaft. Like what an asshole. Brown bricks. Like if I remember, like Mike had this weird, like hate obsession with Minecraft because. I guess it's just because, like, since he considers himself, it's like, since he's like an artist, he like got mad because he considered like Minecraft art to be like bullshit. Like that's what the video was showing.
Monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah. He like pretends to play devil's advocate while speaking through Inspector Gadget.
Yeah.
Just like one hell of a premise. As if like
a free copper.
It's as if you're reviewing like that stupid Elmo movie, like high off his fucking like mind wasn't enough.
I go back and watch the Elmo review from time to time, and it's so painful. Like it really is a drag to get through that video. Like there's nothing redeeming about it. It's not even like
funny in a bad
way. Yeah, like
honestly, because it's not even something to watch, it's something to laugh at just for the fact that it exists.
The real question is, why does everyone get so mad about Mike Matei, making all those like raunchy jokes about like these like childish characters in the Elmo review, but then Daydreaming Davy from AVGN is like a good episode. He's like, what is he gonna do with that pencil? Go home and shove it up his ass? But then, like, when Elmo's talking about, like, getting a blowjob, like, now that's not funny.
Yeah, just because of, like, there's just, like, a level of animosity that, like, Mike really brought upon himself. Where it's just, like, even if he said something that, like, would have been funny out of, like, the mouth of, like, old AVGN, he cannot say it himself. He's just not allowed. What's he gonna do? Shove it up his ass? Like everything was just like ass related with like Davey. Like why is he so impressed about a fucking ruler? He's gonna measure his turds with it? It's stupid. Like talking about like prostitutes and like kids. Somehow he just gets away with that one too. Like, oh, this game has prostitutes. What's he gonna do? Like, what you gonna do? Have sex with a child?
That is fucking awesome.
Yeah, that is so fucking cool. Super Schindler's List 3D.
Kick fucking ass.
Life's kind of cool sometimes. Like, and then what? This like the door burst open, and it's like Dr. Mengele.
I thought someone else who was gonna get us into trouble was gonna come through that door.
And seeing like the doctor, AVGN, like he does that like foot shuffle over, like when he sees Bugs Bunny. Yeah. Oh my God, Dr. Mengele in my own house. But he like doesn't punch him.
He shakes his hand.
He shakes his hand, throws out a salute, and the video ends.
The video's like a few minutes long.
He doesn't even get into the game. And like
he reviews like what, like the first game from that video, which I can't even like remember which one it is.
I can't remember. You know, what would be even funnier is if this just happened plainly for like the birthday blowout episode. Like just instead of like Bugs Bunny showing up, that's what plays out instead.
Like a war criminal shows up to his house.
Yeah, he shakes his hand, throws up a salute, and then it cuts to the screw attack ending. It's like 3 minutes long, and it's got like 10 million views, and it's like the 5th most disliked video on like YouTube. But like every single video he put out after that was normal.
Is the only one?
Just this insane black sheep.
Explanation.
No. Like any comment that like talks about it is removed. Like even to this day, it is 24/7 moderation by like James. And like some people have noted that like Dr. Mengele looked identical. Like it couldn't have been an actor.
Yeah. It looked like an aged up version. Like everyone says he escaped like Argentina or whatever. He got him to show up.
Or like it was actually like just like a fucking like a surprise visit.
Like it wasn't scripted.
No.
Why did he show up?
Doesn't really need to be an explanation. Yeah, you know, like once again, you know, if HelloFresh wants to give us a promotional deal, I will make the thumbnail AVGN throwing up a salute.
Oh my god, it's Franklin Delano Roosevelt in my own home. Franklin Delano fucking Roosevelt.
FDR, and FDR gets up like, out of his wheelchair.
Like throws a single punch and lays AVGN out flat on his ass, knocks him out.
FDR, my own fucking house. He gets up.
Goes to throw the punch and Franklin and FDR catches it.
And then like he like backs over his wheelchair and like crushes his hand. And like James lets out that scream he makes like when he drops the TV on his foot.
Ah, fuck. And like just 1940s paratroopers come in through the ceiling and they just light James up with Tommy guns. But it's not like special effects like in like the Super Mecha Death Christ style. It's just James actually getting shot to death on screen. I'll show them what we do to Nazis around here, boys.
Like, is this like a follow-up? Is this like an alternate reality? Like after like Dr. Mengele like left the house? Like,
yeah, the fucking war crimes tribunal showed up at James's place.
yeah, you know, it's the fucking, it's the oh shit, what is it? The Street Fighter 2010 episode. He walks outside, and he's just like he's inside like the Nuremberg trial. He's in the Nuremberg like fucking trials.
What's all this shit?
White helmeted GIs, Nazis wearing headphones, podiums. What is all this shit? Oh, of course. I'm being tried for crimes against humanity at the Nuremberg trials. And then just him, like it cuts to him quietly sitting, like with the headphones on, even though he speaks English, just being like read out like all of his crimes.
So, Mr. James Rolfe, what do you have to say for yourself? I was just following orders.
Just following orders. Kick fucking ass.
Are you kidding me? Yeah, I'm like reading out the sentence like, we hereby sentence James Rolfe to death by hanging. Are you kidding?
Okay, like this is he makes the same face as when like MJ keeps touching his like crotch in the Moonwalker game, and like his face like just slowly turns into like that open mouth frown. He just like puts his hand over his mouth because he can't believe what he's hearing.
Fuck this sensing. Now I'm gonna pop a cyanide capsule.
He was like in his underwear. Like 5 guards rushed to tackle him, but he already got it down his throat. And then what? It just like ends on like the crazy castle ending where he's just like in hell.
I think it just ends with a camera like up above him, pointing down at the ground to him laying there with like foam coming out of his mouth.
And then it just
It's
ends
a
on like
5-minute extended scene of James foaming at the mouth, dead.
And then after that, just like an immediate fade to black, screw attack.
It's like 2-hour documentary of James's war crime tribunal.
Fucking got his. Ugh. Like a limitless tap of humor coming out of that man. He may not be funny anymore, but we're sure as hell getting our fucking mileage out of him.
He's a specter of comedy.
It's true.
I think that's the best way to describe him.
Yeah, because I couldn't describe anything more than him like today the dead.
Not physically dead, but he just got that look in his eyes. It just screams that a part of him doesn't exist anymore.
Although I guess maybe I should be impressed that they go through such lengths to make him more yellow and yellow in each thumbnail. Because like I know he really doesn't look like that. Because like even on the videos where he's like not being the nerd, he still wears his original glasses. I mean, he actually has the common sense of wearing a hat because he knows better. But he in those thumbnails, if I were to pull out like the fucking like color baster tool on like paint, it would give me a yellow hue on his skin. Like, they're just, like making him disgusting.
Getting the exact hex code on the James
Yeah.
skin, thumbnail skin.
Like if anybody's gonna make a crazy ass video essay, it needs to be on the evolution of the AVGN thumbnails. That wouldn't even be like a bad video in general, like on how they started to like when they started like making them all uniform, and now finally where like each one is just like a weird shot of him from at some point in the video that's like not even like the original artwork that they did. I don't know why they decided to do that.
Why they decided to ditch the mic, like drawn thumbnails.
Yeah. Like all those
Maybe they
classic
need
ones
to,
are
like,
gone.
Need to like cut down on expenditure. They need to like, completely cut Mike out. Make sure he doesn't receive any money from the thumbnails anymore.
Oh yeah. It's all going to Krusty Justin.
So he can feed his horrible addiction to food.
No, an addiction to food and also just an addiction of siphoning power. You know, Parasite needs a host.
Addiction of siphoning all comedy from anyone funny.
Just the idea of like people showing up to his house is like, and they're just surprised and like visits, and not even like actors are scripted. It's just such a ridiculous concept.
I also never get over the idea of like someone breaking into his house in the Star Trek episode. Like when the Klingon is supposed to show up, but instead it's just an actual burglar coming into his house.
And he still tries to fight him like he does in the episode.
Yeah.
And you know, the funny thing is that like you know, the guy being the Klingon, like whoever that was. I honestly don't remember.
That was
who,
Mike.
Like, was it Mike that
It
played
was
him?
Mike.
I
Yeah.
never really bother to like check like which guy it was doing it. Like he had like a real ass like knife.
He just stabs James.
Yeah. Like, can you imagine if like Mike just like oh Chuck, and like he just like got him right in the gut with that knife.
Oh.
James keels over and bleeds out.
Stabs him once, like, Mike, what are you? And then he just pulls it out and just keeps stabbing. You just 20 times right to the gut.
But then like James pulls out his phaser, which was like actually like a real
just
gun.
a Glock that he grabs off his counter.
Pulls out of his waistband and puts like 10 holes in Mike's gut.
Another scenario he come up with where like James is not in on the fact that Mike's trying to actually kill it. It's a fucking Frankenstein.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Up with.
Yeah, we're like, yeah, just,
Turn out. He's gonna take you back to the past.
and he's
Like,
really
James's
strangling
face is
James.
turning purple.
He can't even focus on playing the game because he's like, he's really dying. Oh. And the thing is, like, he had already died, like, well before the song even ended. And, like, Frankenstein just still strangling him. Buffalo! He's just like shaking.
His eyes
His
have already rolled to the back of his head.
Frankenstein is just like shaking his like fucking lifeless head. It's completely limp. And then what? Like when the song goes like, "Nerd," and like the bomb goes off. Like
Yeah, the dead man switch activates.
when like 15 pounds of thermite goes off underneath the couch. like right as it goes like, "Nerd," it shows Mike Matei opening the door. Like opening the door into the room, and it showed that there was like
a shotgun trap.
It just kills him. I was thinking it was like a piece of string tied like to the pin of a grenade. But that's like even more retarded. He just opens it up, it just kills him. It's like, who is in the Frankenstein suit? That was really Frankenstein, huh?
Wait, what? Wait, like Mike. Wait, what? Like, is Mike coming in from a different room, or is Mike trying to leave the room after killing James?
No.
What's happening?
Like this implied that Mike wasn't actually Frankenstein, and that he entered the room.
James is in the room with Frankenstein and has a shotgun trap set up on the only exit out of the room. Like, walking them into the room.
It didn't even kill either of them.
It's like to keep his wife out from, like, interrupting their filming session.
No, it's just to kill Mike.
I guess Frankenstein's getting away scot-free this time. I was imagining originally more like Frankenstein, like after killing James, Frankenstein gets up to like leave the basement, and the camera pans over, and you just see him open the door and like get his brains blown out.
I think it's way funnier to like have the reveal that it wasn't Mike in the suit.
It's always dumb when Mike is trying to kill James and James doesn't like know it until it's too late. But then it's even more dumb when like James has like a backup plan in case he goes down.
Yeah, like right after that, like the only way like Frankenstein's getting his comeuppance is like, you know, right after all that happens and the song ends, all of a sudden there's like an X-ray shot inside of like James's body that shows a pacemaker tied to his heart.
Dead man's switch.
Yeah, and that pacemaker is tied like by string to like a stick of dynamite he ate.
What
And the song
What's
just
that
kicks.
gonna do? How's it gonna ignite? It's just a piece of string. He just ate dynamite for no reason.
And then the song kicks back up and goes like, nerd, and then nothing happens. Shove the piece of dynamite up his ass.
He dies, his bowels release, and he just shits out a stick of dynamite that does nothing.
And his head is just like actually purple. Like after all that strangling.
He's actually dead.
He is like, his brain has 0% oxygen content. He is medically dead. He cannot be brought back with any like medical equipment.
I don't even know why that's a shock, considering that like Mike is on the other side of the room with his brains blown out. Like, where's Guitar Guy and like Spoonie and all of this? Were they like not allowed on the filming set that day?
They just had like premonition to not show up. Well, it's funny to like assume that every single other like member has their own dead man switch, like fearing death.
The real mystery here is like, where the fuck did Frankenstein come from?
It's like the funniest part of the mystery. Are we to actually assume that James made him for real?
But like, why did he think it was Mike then?
It's just like fucking oxygen rushing out of his brain. He's like hallucinating in his final moments. Like in his eyes, he just sees like Mike's angry face flashing in Frankenstein's mug.
What about like the other 10 minutes of the review? What about when they were setting up the cameras?
It was really Frankenstein.
Yeah, but why did he think it was Mike? If he made Frankenstein, why did he think it was Mike and that like it wasn't gonna try to kill him?
Like I said, it was a hallucination he had in the final seconds of being strangled. That's the only explanation. And then like Mike hears him calling him, so he walks in the door, unknowing of the trap. I have something similar to that, but like with the Dragon's Lair episode. Like we're at the end when the door shuts.
He walks into the door.
Yeah, like when the door shuts, they don't even like, you know, CGI in the pile of bones like from the in-game. The door is obviously covered in a mesh of like electrified wire. And James just walks into it, and he just like does that thing that like, you know, electrocution victims do, where he just like stops moving. His eye is he's completely a deadpan stare as he just
Body
slowly
locks up and he falls backwards.
like his body locks
like a
up as
plank.
as he slowly starts to crumble to the ground as like all the electricity like gets spent into his body. And he's just laying there with a little bit of steam coming off of him.
The door closes and reveals that there's just a bunch of like unproperly packed C3 explosives like duct taped to the door. Oh oh shit, oh shit. And it just goes off. The last frame of the video is just complete, like, white frame of explosion.
So it lets out like that. You know, said it once, said it again. When this AI shit gets good enough, we will see this. I will watch this someday. I need to.
Crazy castle episode, but when James rips Bugs Bunny's head off, it's for real. Like, Mike is in the Bugs Bunny suit, actually, like, screaming out in pain as James rips his head off.
James somehow, like, finds enough strength in his body to remove Mike's head from his shoulders.
Queen.
Like, that is not an easy feat to accomplish.
Getting back at him for all the other, I guess for, like, the Klingon episode.
That didn't kill him. They still, like, continued working together after that.
Maybe James is, like, got some, like, Doctor Strange shit going on. He's, like, peering into every timeline. Seeing all the possibilities of Mike, like, stabbing him in the back.
Yeah. And how many where you don't die? Just one.
I guess that's the one we're living in, apparently.
Which is a damn shame. We couldn't have, like, the 3 billion other ones. Like, the funniest shit imaginable happened. And still manage to, like, stay up on YouTube.
Cinemassacre meets, like, a premature end after everyone involved, like, kill each other. In an extremely comical way.
Just the idea that, like, the James house is just booby-trapped and rigged with guns and explosions. Like, you can't walk in. You just, like, it's a miracle they're even, like, filming in here.
Just gotta be ready for any situations. There's a hidden gun,
like,
every, like, 5 feet in his house.
Like, it'd be hysterical if, like, he died from a trap that was set up on, like, a previous episode that, like, just never went off.
He gets so into the filming process, he forgets his own safety nets.
Yeah, like, you remember, like, I think Batman Part 1, where he's playing, like, the shitty Commodore 64 game, and he's trying to, like, get the button to work on the keyboard. Like, I'm thinking he keeps pressing, like, the N key over and over, and it's like that scene from fucking... it's like that scene from, like, Breaking Bad. Where he's, like, he keeps pressing the fucking ring. He keeps pressing, like, the bell on his, like, wheelchair.
The bell for sex?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
It's, like, tied to the explosion underneath. It's like he's pressing the key, like, over and over.
This first, this second, this third.
It won't be easy.
James looks over to the pipe bomb 2 feet away from him.
I guess I gotta defuse the bomb. Ding, 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 ding. That'll, like, always be the funniest part of that episode, and how it, like, so quickly cuts from, like, giving him 30 minutes to, like, 10
like
seconds. Like, apparently he spent that half hour doing nothing. The first thing he cuts kills him. I don't know, it's just the Frankenstein one is just always the funniest one to, like, fuck over like that, I guess.
Why is the shotgun so common with that one too? Because I remember the last time we went on this bender, I remember James pulled the shotgun out from under the futon and blew Mike's brains out with it.
It's just because it's the funniest, like, ranged weapon you could pull out, because it's so, like, visceral right off the bat. Like, you know, shooting, like, him shooting, like, Mike with the Glock, like, that's gonna leave, like, a bunch of, like, little holes that you're probably not even gonna, like, see on camera. But shooting someone point blank with a shotgun, like, you're gonna immediately see the ramifications of that. And also, the shotgun already is, like, you know, It is like an AVGN weapon.
It's established.
Yeah, it's
because of the Odyssey episode.
Yes. So it has legacy.
Now this is what you call a fucking gun. I mean, look at it. It's a fucking gun. Let's try it out. Walks into the next room and Mike is tied up, like bound to a chair.
Blows his head off, like knowing full well what he just did, and he just still looks at the barrel of the gun like he didn't expect it to happen.
Nerdy turd still pops up on screen. Like,
the nerdy turd. Shit my fucking pants.
the nerdy diaper.
I can't control my own bowel movements.
So, we're gonna have to do this. Alright, come on up. This is my handler. She has to change my diapers for me whenever I shit myself.
She cleans up my nappy when I make a stinky. It's like she like doesn't really want to be in the episode. She's kind of like sitting in the corner on her phone. But he's like really trying to like force her in on it. And at some points he like purposely shits himself just to like get her to like get in front of the camera.
Yeah, like we playing like, oh, you're gonna, this is a solar baby, and then like, you know, he like a camera cuts to like them on the couch. James looks over, she's completely uninterested on her phone, just like scrolling through Instagram. And James like, he looks at her, looks back at the screen, looks back at her, looks at the screen, and then you see his face start to tense up.
His face turns red.
He's like he's really trying to force one out.
He assumes a position on his couch, and he just pulls his legs up like behind his head, shits himself, so you can immediately see a massive stain in the diaper. Like he's not wearing pants. He's like wearing the shirt.
The pants at all.
He's just like naked at bare ass, hairy legs in a diaper. He's feet above his head, huge brown stain in his diaper, and he just goes, "Uh-oh." Apparently, after playing the Odyssey, I shit my pants. She goes over and starts like changing him, and he's just like,
he starts like acting like a baby, like he starts like pissing.
he starts like thrashing and like kicking her and hitting her.
Kicks her, plants a split right in her face.
She's like trying to take the diaper off him, and he's like laughing and kicking her. He like drops on the floor and starts crawling around the room really fast. And like since he's an adult, he can like really crawl with some speed. And she can't catch him. And every time she gets close, he starts like kicking her. Oh, bitch. And he goes behind the couch, and like she like reluctantly goes back there, but he like. He pulled out a knife.
What's he gonna do with it?
I don't know. Like that's where like the part 2 episode kicks in. It's like a four-parter, like it's a four-parter like Castlevania. Well, I mean, he already wasted like 3 minutes of time with this whole baby part where he shoots himself. He just like stabs her, she screams, he kills her, and he just goes on with the review as normal. Up until the part where like he shoots Mike.
But she never changes diapers, so now he's just pants completely naked from the waist down.
So what happens is like when he crawled back there, like she never got his diaper off completely. So he just like kind of like he gets up off her corpse, he like, pulls his diaper back up slightly, and he just sits down, like pressing the turds down.
Soiled diaper.
Yeah, you hear him like sit down, and you just hear him go like, oh, but he keeps going. Oh, it stinks.
Oh, that's nasty.
Damn. I've plastered on my sofa with my own shit.
Great, now he has no one to play Odyssey with.
And no one to change his diaper.
How's he gonna play Odyssey? It's a 2-player console.
I'd like to imagine that from that point on, he just sits on the couch, silently playing. The camera's not even like showing the gameplay
He's not
anymore.
even giving any commentary. He's just sitting in silence.
Like he's just breathing really heavily. Like after like all that went down, he's sitting on the sofa, controller in hand, playing silently to himself. And like over time, he just starts
his
to cry.
diaper gets more and more full because he still can't control his bowels. He never fixed that problem.
His underwear, like his fucking diaper becomes completely brown.
Every like 5 to 10 minutes, you hear another like load of shit fill his diaper, and as the video goes on, he starts to smell it more and more, which is causing him to like cry.
He cries.
Why can't he change his own diaper?
He doesn't know.
He
How.
refuse to, or
Like after Mike refused, that's like what earned him like his spot being tied up in the chair. Oh yeah, changing the nerd diaper. I can't control my own bowels, so I shit myself every 5 minutes.
is that supposed to be with a fucking like beat a game button, or
I don't know.
which bit is this?
I mean, that's supposed to be like just like a rehash of the bit where he says like I cloned of my own shit. Like he never even introduces the nerdy turd. Just because he doesn't want anything to do with turds anymore. That's why he got this like woman to do this
Too
for him.
painful for him.
Yeah. It's like it would be really funny if like not only can he not control his bowels, but like his shits are extremely painful. And he ends up going into like hysterics. Like he curls up into a fetal position, like shitting his pants, crying out, pleading with like whoever.
Every now and then when he gets into that like original position where like, he puts his legs up over his head, this shit, like you can see like a bit of like blood stain in the diaper.
That's fucking nasty, man.
His skin gets more and more pale as the video goes on due to blood loss. And then like by part 4 of him just sitting in silence, shitting himself, the video just ends abruptly when like he just goes into septic shock.
Or like eventually like the police enter the house. Because 2 people have just been missing.
Called the cops after they heard a woman screaming.
He entered his home and they just see this mess. And like the fucking sheriff's like, "Are you the angry video game nerd?"
That's when he charges him with the knife and gets lit up.
The sheriff opens the door, but the shotgun trap is still rigged. Damn!
SWAT team kicks down his door, but there's a fucking grenade trap.
Oh my god! Fucking SWAT team just busted through my house! Oh my god!
Glass and flashbangs everywhere.
Who gave him the warrant to do this? I'm fucking done.
Yeah, I'm tuckered out.
I think we've stated our piece. That's like 2.5 benders of like actual bendering.
Too many retarded bits for one night. We covered all bases. You had Skyrim, Metal Gear, God of War, AVGN.
That's where I'm gonna draw the line for tonight.
I think it's time to end it.